I found out my son was gay.
I grew up in the Midwest, traditional, almost stereotypical conservative, kind of bread and butter. A guy was a guy and a girl was a girl, and that was pretty much it. And like most others, the issue of sexuality was used as an epithet or was used as a put down. So of course you didn't really want anything to do with it, didn't want to associate with it. And it was something that you didn't talk about, and it was other. It wasn't you, wasn't anybody you knew, it was just somebody else.
I was raised Catholic, very strict Catholic. We really didn't talk about our sexuality. It's just, that's what it was. I was also raised that marriage was for a man and a woman, and there was nothing else. I mean, that was it. And that's what I always believed in.
Being a kid, yeah, he was depressed, and part of that's normal, part of it's grown up. But I remember a particular time, him being very emotional and very upset, which is uncharacteristic for Gavin, because he, as you know, he's a very cheerful kid, right? But I remember going down to his room and asking him and saying, what's wrong? And he looked at me with tears in his eyes. He said, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not like other kids. We didn't have the luxury of finding out that one of our children was gay. We found out that we had 2 gay kids in a matter of hours.
No, my daughter came and told me. He was out of town.
Yeah.
He's always out of town.
Yeah.
She came and told me, Mom, I have something to tell you. We talked about it. We hugged it out. I went and did my thing when I had to come to grips with this. Well, then it was not with hours, it was like a day later, my daughter's partner's mom felt it was her place to tell me about Gavin. It was very eye-opening. He was going to be a senior in high school, and I would like to say that my world was rocked, but it wasn't. I had a very open relationship with my son. And I mean, it was a bonding moment. I can't imagine him not in my life. I feel like I didn't have a choice in the matter, because he's me. He's my son, and I love it.
I mean, we went through the whole gamut of emotions of, what did I do? This is all on me. I must have been a horrible dad, and us in our marriage, we must have really done something. And that gives way to other very powerful emotions of, sadness in a way. You're like, gosh, what does this mean for my son? What's he going to have to face in his life? And then you get all the selfish emotions of, wow, what does this mean for our marriage, us as parents? Are we going to be judged? And how is this going to fit in socially and with our church and at school and relatives? Once the shock wore off, it was really like, it was not that big a deal. We got very quickly into, so what does this mean? How do we process this? How do we go on with our family?
How do we help others?
Right. There have been plenty of misunderstandings, right? There have been plenty of difficult moments, awkward moments. But we've turned it into something that we don't shy away from. We don't hide from it. We acknowledge it. And Cassie is awesome about saying, give me grace if I refer to something that's not PC, and we don't mean that disrespectfully, but that may be offensive to somebody. Give us grace and help me understand. Teach me, right? Going to your kids and saying, teach me. What do I need to know? How do I address you? How do I have a respectful conversation? When you see someone up close and personal, and you enter into their social space and have a conversation and even a casual relationship, it's suddenly a real person. And a lot of the stereotypical negative emotions you have kind of melt away right off the bat. And once you start interacting, and it's much less easy to dismiss or look down upon somebody when you've had that shared experience. When I'm with this partner together and they come over for dinner and we play cards, I'm not thinking about that. I'm not trying to watch myself and be guarded. I just love being around them both, and it's just so natural. You don't have to think about it.
I hate to admit this, and this is pride, but I struggle with what my friends out here are going to think? Or bigger yet, what they're going to think of my kids. That judgment on my kids. I just want to protect them.
Somebody coming up to your child in church saying, "Hey, I need you to know that you're going to hell." That's a pretty, yeah, that wasn't beating around the bush. It was very straightforward. We've invited our son to church with his partner and sat with him, and it can be intimidating to come to a small or a large church where nobody else looks like you. Doesn't matter if it's race, doesn't matter if it's orientation, but that's a difficult thing because you feel conspicuous. You know, it's human nature, so it certainly is more challenging.
We've raised our kids in the faith from day one, and they have slowly left because of the LGBT non-acceptance.
I think they expect and have a right to expect a church that overtly says, we welcome you, not because you're different, but because you're just like us. Because the window dressing of appearances and sexuality is just that. It's superficial differences. We're here because last time I checked, we're all sinners and we're all welcome here. And the only way we're going to change hearts and minds is to give the grace that we ask for. And without it, I see a continuing conflict. You know, I don't see meeting in the middle. I see just continued condemnation and judgment on both sides, right? On both sides. Both sides have to be careful being judgmental and have more conversations, less jump into conclusions. And there's so many great things that the Methodist denomination in particular, all Christians of course, but Methodists in particular have done, that I'd hate to see this be the stumbling block, right? That through the generations, through the ages, that Methodism and Methodists have embraced social controversy and have overcome it and united in a time when so many other denominations are busy fragmenting. We're going to have to give an account of, did you welcome my children who happen to be homosexual or be in that type of relationship? Did you welcome them? Did you let them know how much I love them? Did you demonstrate how much I love them by how much you love them? Or did you make it more difficult for them in their times of questioning and seeking their religious identity? Did you help them see a clearer picture of me? Or did you paint an unflattering, judgmental picture that isn't me?
I want them to be happy. I want them to be able to be married, to have a lifelong commitment to someone they love forever, and to have kids. I want them to have everything that their siblings have, to be accepted by everyone. I want them to have a church that loves them. My biggest hope of all this is that they are in heaven with me. I mean, that is my ultimate. I want them to be loved. I want them to have hope for a great future for their kids. I want their kids to not be judged and to be loved, and to have a youth group and a church to go to where they are accepted, and that's my hope.